Hello there, everyone. Patricia Hayes here with your coffee time networking chat for Wednesday. Super excited as I remind you all that I decided to start doing something a little bit different here in the new year and to let you behind the scenes with some chit chats that I have with my fellow professionals and entrepreneurs. And so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep, having some chit chat. You'll see how I do a little bit of coffee chatting throughout the week and bring some people that I talk to all the time behind the scenes in front of the scenes. So speaking of which, we have my dear friend, Heather Biagas here. Hey, Heather. And
Hey.
Heather and I talk a lot. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
won't tell you everything we talk about because some of it is not meant for open open
No.
discussion. But let's just say that when I'm having a little problem as an entrepreneur and as a woman, Heather is on speed dial. And that is because Heather is a fellow entrepreneur. She'll tell you some little bit more about herself, but she is a fabulous, fabulous chef and baker. And she's got my family addicted to her stuff there at Little Mama's Kitchen. So she's coming to us live from her kitchen. So we probably can't smell anything that's going on. And that's just so
No,
regretful.
sorry. Smell-o-vision doesn't exist yet.
No
So,
smell-o-vision. So we can just dream about it.
yeah,
So Heather, tell folks a little bit more about you and how long you've been in business and why did you decide to do it?
to do this.
Yeah.
So I am Heather Biagas, and I own a company called Little Mama's Kitchen. We are a wholesale specialty bakery that is located in Round Rock, and we actually work out of our own production kitchen. What does that mean? It means we have our own kitchen facility where we bake all of our products, where we package all of our products, and either we do deliveries to other businesses, and sometimes, if I really like you, I'll sell to other retail customers, such as Patricia and her wonderful family. Um, I have a t-shirt that says, if I like you, I bake for you. And it is very, very true. I'm very selective. But we have been in our new kitchen facility for almost a year now. It took us an additional year to build because of COVID.
Yeah.
But we are so blessed, so happy. I actually started Little Mamas in Pflugerville almost 10 years ago. And we were in 800 square feet for 9.5 years before I started building this current kitchen space. And this current kitchen space is actually 2,400 square feet. So we have tripled in what we're doing. And our goal is to be the baking helping hands for other business establishments. So we make sandwich buns. It's a brioche style sandwich bun that you can find at a number of places in Pflugerville, Round Rock, and also in Austin. We also make wonderful zucchini bread that
Oh my
Patricia is
God.
very,
Well,
very
she's
addicted to.
breezing past that, but that zucchini bread is like addictive. I mean, so when she decides to open things up to people
Yeah.
in general, you have to go buy it because it is so stinking yummy. Anyway, I digress.
But they can go and get it. So if you're locally,
Yeah,
in the Austin area, there's a place called Dazzle Coffee in Pflugerville
that's
and also
right.
in Round Rock. And then there's actually a new coffee shop called Dwell in Hutto that they also have the
Oh,
zucchini bread. Yep, we just
okay.
started with them.
Oh
Um,
yeah. See, we got to make sure and put those plugs in
yeah, put
there.
those plugs in, put those plugs in. But I started this business because I was a baker 20 plus years ago, moving here to Texas, that went to culinary school. And I chose the culinary school at Austin Community College because number one, my credits from previous college classes actually would transfer. So
Hmm.
instead of me having to do it a full 2 years plus because of my general education, I did my year in something, a semester or so because I had my general education classes taken care of. But ACC has the culinary program. It still exists. And I was able to actually bake while also learning production. And that's something really big in my industry. You have to understand how to bake for the masses, how to prepare food for the masses. And ACC, they let me do that. And they taught me well. Let me know, like, hey, you're going to make a mistake, but this is how we fix it. When I was at ACC, I discovered there weren't really quality baked goods that were made for local coffee shops or restaurants that didn't have a lot of preservatives. And so we're a made from scratch establishment, no preservatives. We're in our kitchen 5-6 days a week, making products and then delivering them to customers. So we make sure we get things, to everyone as fresh as possibly can be.
Yeah. And y'all, I mean, she's not joking. It's super, super yummy. And so, like, I'm just not going to make y'all mad with some of the stuff that you can't have. But
I say, people always ask me, well, do you do gluten-free or keto? And I'm like, no, I'm all the sugars. I'm all the carbs. I'm all the gluten.
And it's all the goodness. Okay.
I make yum yum food. That's what I do. I make yum yum food.
It's so awesome. Here's the funny thing, though, is that we met. Where did we meet? I think we met at a City of Austin Economic Development Luncheon for Women. Is that right?
That is right. Yep.
And that was right. Because we've known each other for a while from, like, I think running into each other at some chamber events, but it's that luncheon where it really sticks out in my mind because we have a picture together from that luncheon.
We do.
And that's really where, like, our connection just kind of built from there. I mean, because there's other than, if someone says, hey, do you know someone who does? Like our industries, our work doesn't interact a lot. I was a lobbyist, right? So, I mean, we eat, but
but that's the thing, we forget that food does connect everybody in all of these different ways.
Yes.
Whether it's the luncheon or if it's the coffee, or the snacks from someplace, or it's the local grocery store. There's a lot of women who I admire and follow and, not as connected because of COVID, but still very connected, and we cross paths. But there's so many of us that we have met in these smaller circles that are very intimate. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts. So I'm a Yankee. I know.
It's okay. Remember, I was born in Philadelphia, so.
That's right. Okay. So, but one thing I can say about Austin is, they talk about how everything is sort of 6 degrees of separation. Mm-hmm. Austin's really 3. And it's very, very true. Recently, unfortunately, local bakery, they had a devastating fire a week ago.
No, I saw that. It was horrible.
Right. And the crazy part about it is that is actually Texas French bread. Yeah. They were my first bakery job in Texas. And I have great memories. And when I look back, doing the work that I did with them really, it cemented what I wanted to do in this food industry, not knowing that was really the path, because they were doing wholesale as well as retail. And when I look back, I've done both, but wholesale is really my jam. Providing stuff on the back end to make my customers, look good for their customers. That's my job. I'm your baking helping hands, and we do it very, very well.
Yeah. And so, you said something that was really interesting to me, because it's that whole thing. And this is, me, I'm always talking about networking and building those relationships and how it works. Hello, we met at a networking luncheon. Mm-hmm. And the power of how that can build and continue, and how you said a couple of things. One was about how, especially now, you really stay connected with people through kind of like mini groups of folks. And also just because of your background and the folks that you've known for 10, 20, 30 years. I'm always reinforcing this to people. So
Yep.
I wanted to bring that out with you saying that, because people take for granted those things. But when you've got 3 degrees of separation, somebody you knew 10 years ago could very easily resurface in your life today, right?
Well, and it's very true, because actually my former bakery manager from Texas French Bread 20 years ago is actually helping me out now in my business.
That's
And
so cool.
so, we connected 6 years ago at the restaurant supply store out of nowhere. It just happens, but it happens so organically.
Yeah.
And it happening organically is very tough nowadays with the internet and distance and this pandemic that we're still existing in. So those
Yeah.
relationships are so valuable and mean so much more now than they did, even 6 years ago.
Yeah. And tell me, and I don't want to make a presumption, because I want you to share also if there's a other challenge that you've had, that you've come across when you're doing your relationship building. But hello, you're a baker. Like, you
Mhm.
are in the kitchen like at 4 and 5 a.m. till like 2, and the different things that you're having to do with the business itself. So how is it that you have been able to successfully engage in the networking, business development side with the unusual? You don't keep a normal schedule.
No.
So how does that work for you?
It's been difficult in the past.
Yeah.
I would say, when I started the company, I was really out there and involved. And part of that is because I have the team, back in the kitchen, who knows what to do and doesn't
Right.
need some of my guidance, but they don't need me there babysitting. And we've gone through the up and downs with staff and, being able to do that. So in the early stages, I did it really well. And then I kind of shied away from it because I didn't know really what my path was. I didn't really know who should I be talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Do I really fit in? Because I'm in the food world and I know food does connect everybody, but there are times when I can't always relate to somebody. And you
Yeah.
kind of find yourself like, oh, I don't know if this was the right choice. But you also have to remember, you have to go out of your comfort zone to determine what is and what isn't the right choice for yourself. And then, I kind of found myself saying, I need to get out of the kitchen. I need to get back to seeing people. I need to get back
Yes.
to meeting people. And so, you know what? Go home, take a nap for about 2 hours, get up, doll yourself up, and get to that evening networking. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about basically doing what you have to do for the business. Being an
Yes.
entrepreneur, we try to separate ourselves, but it's hard because we're still always connected.
Yeah.
We want to have the day off. Well, my day off is still doing a delivery,
Right.
but you
We were
make this
just talking,
choice.
people don't know. So right before we got started, we were literally just talking about how I had gotten lectured for working 7 days a week because I was doing recording on the weekends as well. And so I had to pull back, because it's just the thing you end up doing. It's like, oh, I'll just go do this, post, and I'll just go do this little quick video. And 2 hours later, you're down a rabbit trail doing something. So
Trying to,
it really does take practice
yep.
to step back. But part of that is talking to other people, like I do, talking with Heather, about, hey, what are you doing? Let's go grab some coffee, or I'll meet you outside, and, whatever we
Yep.
have to do to
Yep.
stay
It's like,
on track.
what are you doing writing this and posting this at 1:30? She goes, this literally happened, a week ago. And I was like, why are you messaging me? She goes, good night. I mean, this is the other thing. We're entrepreneurs. We have to figure out also for ourselves, when is our best productivity?
Yeah.
Yes, I have to be at the kitchen early. Some days I have to go home and take a nap. But when I don't have to be here, I'm technically a night owl.
So am I.
my night owl will kick in. And next thing you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh, I guess I should go to bed now. Because the husband wants to go do brunch. Oh, in 6 hours. Okay, let's go take a nap. But you figure a way how to do it because this is you. This is your business. This is the blood, the sweat, the tears. And me being in the food industry, I mean, I'm in the business of putting smiles on people's faces with good food and things that I truly believe in. And, networking with you and staying connected with the other ones, it's the people you truly believe in because they add to your soul. They add to your cup of coffee,
I love that. I love that.
And it's so important because right now we're still dealing with the pandemic. We don't see people as much, but you have to reach out and just say, hey, thinking of you. I'll have those moments where I just put up on Facebook like, hey, missed your faces. And I know it's going out to like 300 people and people are like, oh, damn, I miss your face too.
Right.
I appreciate that because we forget that those little bits of communication, are so important. I don't know, Patricia, it was probably a month ago where both of us were having I remember it was a really bad Monday. And I reached out to Patricia and I said, you got 30 minutes? And she's like, I got an hour because I can't believe you messaged me. And she's like, yep, we got time for one another.
Yes.
And it turns into, it's that support system.
Exactly.
And you don't know what to do. And both of us were down in our dumps with a really bad day. And next thing you know, an hour and a half, and we're both like, oh, okay, so that's how we're going to change that. Okay, we got this. Yep. But you need that. And as women, entrepreneurs, we forget that. And we forget our support system because we don't want to look as if we can't do it. We don't want to, I don't want to say it's our weakness, but it's like we can't handle it.
It's a little flaw. It's a little crack. It's a little crack.
Mm-hmm.
And we are known for that because we're so busy doing stuff all the time. I mean, so Heather will totally laugh at this because she knows what goes on in my house about food, right? I love to cook look, she's already laughing. I love to cook just for the fun of it. So anyone who follows me on Facebook, you will see I'm always posting meals. And people are like, when do you have time to do that? I'm like, oh, I don't cook just to feed my family. I cook for fun and creative. And that's one of the ways I get my creative juices out. So it's, part of that. And, if they get to eat, as well. And so, but every once in a while, when there's something that comes up and I have to cook out of necessity, which is not always as much fun because normally that means I have to involve someone else. And the latest series has been with my son, who is an athlete. Look, Heather is laughing because she knows what I'm talking about. So here I am violating one of my rules, which is I give myself a break and I do not cook from scratch on Fridays. And probably normally not on Saturdays either, because I cook from scratch most of the week. And my son is on this new nutrition plan as an athlete that a friend of ours has him on. And there I was prepping food for a 15-year-old boy to eat for 2 days on a Friday night.
Nope.
And Heather was sending me messages like, and I was like, that is not funny. I am violating my personal rules here.
Well, we also got to bring in also the holiday baking. And
don't tell all that.
I'm going to try my grandmother's pecan pie recipe again. And I'm like, what do we mean again? Did we not figure this out before, like 3 years ago? Did we not make those notes?
I have the pecan part. It's the crust. I'm not baking a pie. I'm not baking pie crust from scratch. She did not leave me that recipe. I have told you that. And so I buy the pie crust recipe, y'all. So sorry. But so here's the story. My grandmother left me in her 6th grade scratch handwriting in pencil on an index card.
Mhm.
I tell you no lie, I could
Yeah.
go get it. And it has her scratch of what the ingredients are for her pecan pie recipe.
But no
No
measurements.
time, no temperature,
No temperature.
and the
No.
words on the paper say, I know how to make the crust. And all my life,
Mhm.
I look at that every holiday when I make those pecan pies, and I am losing it because my
Yeah.
grandmother did not leave me her pie crust recipe. And I was like, fine, I'm just going to buy it. Now, the one I don't have that I've been playing around with, this is the one you're thinking about, is that sweet potato pie recipe. That's the one. She didn't even leave me that. So here I am 30 years later,
Yeah.
I don't know, up here trying to figure out that recipe every year for 30 years.
Well, and I've been told by my husband, who's from New Orleans, that I can, but I can't make a pecan. I make a sweet potato pie. He said because the spice level down in New Orleans and Texas and kind of south in Georgia is different than what us Yankees, Boston, Massachusetts people do. So I'm like, I've been told it's okay, and I'm like, what are you going to do? I don't see you in the kitchen trying to figure this out. So go on about your business.
But
Yeah,
you
I
know
know.
what the fun part of it is? And this is one of those things. I mean, just like in our businesses, when we do things so that we can pass it along to someone else. I've been talking about mentorship a little bit this month. But my daughter has the cooking bug, right? So, Kendall, and
Ooh.
how she loves to bake and she loves to eat the sweets, especially Miss Heather's sweets. And yeah, she puts in her orders before she comes back from school. And Heather is like,
She does.
no, that is not happening. But she spoiled.
Because
You spoiled her before she left. You
oh, I did.
spoiled her.
I
You
know.
spoiled
I
her.
know.
Yes, we got a special treat that we took 1,500 miles across the country back in August.
Hey, you got to take care of your peeps because I knew it. There was going to be a time, and
There was going to be a
like I said,
time.
if I like you, I bake for you. It's very
But
true.
the great thing is when I'm baking and I'm doing this, she's often has been in the kitchen there with me. She's learning these things and she's like, Mom, we need to make sure and document this stuff. And it's just so fabulous, right?
Yeah.
To have that and to know that you can share that while we're poking fun at each other and our family craziness around that. But those are the relationships you build with our family. But we share that with each other as friends and entrepreneurs. And that's just, that speaks so much louder and so many ways for me as well.
And what you're talking about, mentorship, that's what I also see with my company.
Yeah.
We're looking, I have a new employee. She's 18, but she wants to be in this business. She's had 2 really bad previous experiences in the food industry. So I'm really working to take more care in debugging those bad experiences because she has great potential. But we all know that one bad experience can particularly scar you from
Yeah.
doing anything else you really want to do.
Yes.
I'm also working with a guy who has a second chance youth program where they do catering. And so we're meeting tomorrow with him and a couple of his colleagues to try and get some of those youth in here working with us, not only baking in my kitchen, but we also have other businesses rent our kitchen who can use people in their businesses. So I have a meal prep company. They definitely need, a third set of hands.
Yeah.
And so I've talked to them. I have a lady who does jam and jellies. She'd love to have someone. So it's not only giving someone mentorship in reference to a job and showing them different skills in the food industry, but you're opening yourself up to, hey, let me try and guide you, through this crazy world called life and a job, because you never know what's going to ever happen. And so that's the other part of the company is we want to, have people who work for us and participate in things where, it's really meaningful. And like you said, I might be coaching or mentoring the next entrepreneur who wants to do what I want to do, or,
Yes.
they have an idea and I'm like, oh, give me like an hour. I can connect you with somebody.
Yes.
Because again, that 3 degrees of separation being in this area, I can send a text message, I can make a phone call, and literally probably by at max in a couple of hours, I'll either have an answer or I'll be able to connect someone to the next person so that they can move forward with whatever they need to. And that's really, really important.
And this is why Heather and I are friends, because we operate from the same space and have the same level of integrity when it comes to building relationships and how you do it so that you're supporting and bringing others. She does not even know, but like when I recorded my Monday episode, it was all on mentorship. And you would think that she had heard it already because she literally just said some of the things that I put there, and I did not prep her at all. I love when things come together like that. I absolutely love it.
And Patricia, you and I are really on the same page a lot of times, with what we either want for our businesses or for the people that we curate our relationships with. And I think that's really the strength and bond that we definitely have, that we didn't know that we were going to be this when we met all those years ago.
Those years ago, right?
Yeah.
Not at all. Oh my gosh, this has been so awesome. I have been so honored. And I thank you so much, Heather, for allowing me to share you with my network on Coffee Time. If people want to reach out to you, what's the best way? And I'll make sure and put it in the notes as well, like your website and those types of things. So where would you most
honestly, the best way to really get in touch with me, like if you're looking for anything, you just want to know things, send me a text message. At the company phone number. You want me to give that?
Sure. The company number, not your personal one.
So the company phone number is 512-996-8667. Awesome. Text messaging is the best for me. I get the message, I can answer it right then and there versus an email having to be followed up with, or, a phone call, because most of the time I don't even get to answer the phone. Because we're doing something, or I'm sitting here having this conversation.
Which I had to schedule. So we're friends, but I still had to schedule this conversation. So
exactly. But I can easily just send, like if someone's like, hey, I'm looking for a link, or do you have this? I can shoot off a picture to somebody. If they want to place an order, I can shoot off a link real quick. I look back and I say to myself, what did we do 25 years ago without smartphones and, the Zoom calls and things. And I'm like, we've just become so advanced.
Yes.
But it's also about just getting the work done. And how do you get it done efficiently?
And staying connected. Don't expect the electronics to do all the work for you. It's still not going to do everything for you.
No, it's not. You still have to curate those relationships.
Yes.
But the electronics helps it make it a little bit easier.
It does.
Especially if you're not in the area.
Yeah. It does. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Heather, once again for joining me. And I will drop a link to her things and her little special. So if you're in the Austin area, she is allowing a few of us into her world for Valentine's and the Super Bowl week. So I will drop that link below as well. But thank you guys for reaching out. You know how to reach out to me. Hit me up in the DMs or contact me at info@patriciavhayes.com or I said Patricia V. Hayes at pvhconsulting.com, or just go to the website. That's always a safe place. You can always reach me there. All right. Take care, everyone. It's been fantastic, and we will talk again later. Bye-bye.